From the center of the galaxy, this is ForceCenter live on a Monday, and we are a show about Star Wars, talking about Star Wars, pop culture, and the ultimate adventure, life itself. I'm Ken Napzok.
I'm Joseph Scrimshaw, and there's been a lot of adventure.
Has been. Lots of adventure. We're here to talk Star Wars news, as we often do, live on Mondays. And for those of you watching and listening later, we thank you as well for the Watch Late crew, which is really watch on time, because live is just special. But we love hanging out with all of you, which means we might be able to take some of your questions, comments related to the news. We'll get to the news in a second, Joseph, but I'll call it a lighter news week, but not without things to dive into deeply.
No, I mean, you pulled the news together this week, which was a kindness. I appreciate, because we kind of trade off. And you sent me the email like, not much news. And then I opened it up and saw George Lucas is a minion now. And I'm like, that's 3 hours of hearty conversation right there. What do you mean the news is light?
That's right. And while promoting House of the Dragon, Matt Smith talking about Starfighter. We'll dive into all that in a second. As always, we like to remind you that today's show is brought to you by our own merch shop on Fourth Wall. Check out our merch store. Pick up a t-shirt, pint glass, coaster, coffee mug, hat, tote bag, something to help support the show and represent ForceCenter out in the galaxy. That sounds like a threat. Do it. Pick up something. No, it's fun stuff. If something we don't have that you want, let us know. Also, you can head to TeePublic to get merch, but check out forcecenter-shop.fourthwall.com. Again, forcecenter-shop.fourthwall.com. That's our merch and our merch ad read. But Joseph, we have a goal we're still building towards.
That is right. Just imagine my Agent Cooper mug is actually a ForceCenter mug, and what good promotion that would be if I did that, and I will.
Same.
Anyway, this is not Ken's other show. It's this one. So our goal, again, want to thank everybody who got us to the Patreon goal that we set by the time of the release of the film, The Mandalorian and Grogu. Now we are building to a new goal. By the time of the announcement of The Mandalorian and Grogu on physical media, which I think will come relatively soon, we would love to get to a goal of 417 paid patrons on Patreon. As of this recording, we're at 411, so not far to go at all. Thank you to everyone who has joined. It helps us in these very difficult times. It's kind of necessary for us in these difficult times, and it's great to see. As we've been pushing Patreon more, we've been seeing more people join the community, and it's great to have new faces, returning faces, all that.
And we're in that Patreon page. You can get into the Discord, but also get those call-in links to call into the shows on Fridays or any other time we take calls as well. We are going to get to the news in a second, too, catch up amongst ourselves. We have a little bit of a life adventure checkup on our show coming out Wednesday, but the big news, Joseph, is you still have a major feature film debuting in L.A. July 18th.
I have a feature film, and now it's a possibility of being major. So the horror film that I wrote and directed and got a ton of help from lots of different wonderful people. It's called Dead Media, and it has been picked up for distribution by a great company called Antenna Releasing, and we're doing a road show, taking the film around with Q&As and lots of bells and whistles. And to start that, to kick it off, we have the Los Angeles premiere of the film on Saturday, July 18th. You can find out all sorts of information about that at antennareleasing.com/films/deadmedia. But the big thing is the tickets are up. The ticket link is live. It's real. It's happening. I can't wait to see hopefully some ForceCenter friends at the premiere and at the roadshow. More dates to be announced.
That's right. Link is in the YouTube description below. If you're watching on YouTube, I will be there as well. So not an added bonus, but I'll be in the crowd with all of you watching the Fine Motion Picture. Other than that, here we are live on a Monday. You and I both hacking a little bit because there's this crazy warehouse fire still burning. I think it started last Wednesday. It's still going in the Boyle Heights area of Los Angeles. And so bad that I was driving yesterday in heading that direction. I was like, oh, it's a little cloudy today. That's great. Oh no, that's just the smoke that is creating its own weather system in LA. So I know you're affected as well. You're a little closer.
Yeah, I hadn't really been seeing it or feeling it. But last night I slept with the window open and I'm feeling a little froggy. And I think the old window's got to get closed.
Yeah.
It's just such a endlessly fascinating time to be alive.
Yeah. 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 It's when you drive around LA, Boyle Heights is near downtown LA if you're not, if you're out there listening and familiar with the landscape of our city. But driving that direction, which is basically southeast in LA, it kind of looks like one of those movies that begins with Los Angeles 2031 and the world's ending. Like it's just one of those things.
Bursts of flame.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would like that life adventure to wrap up for everybody involved.
Indeed. Any other life adventures you want to talk about before we dive into the news live?
Only other Star Wars adventure is so my wife is out of town and I've been real busy working on film stuff. So at the end of the evening, I was like, this weekend, I was like, I kind of want to watch something I've never seen before, but like my mind isn't quite there. So like I want a comfort watch. So I've been rewatching Kenobi because we've been talking about it a lot on the show, and I'm really enjoying it, and it's really enjoying enjoying studying the way it is shot because I'm so invested in the ideas of and the characters and the acting performance that after I have done a lot more filming myself, it's really fun to watch it from the perspective of literally how it's filmed, because it is filmed very differently and lots of people aren't okay with it. And there are lots of shots that I think are like great, and shaky cam up in Obi-Wan's eyes and you really feel his emotion. You really feel him. He's untethered and get some nice little Dutch angles going on in that. And then there's some like, I think they shot this action scene kind of fast because there's maybe it could have used a little bit more angles, which I am not here to beat up on that show. I love it. And I know it was filmed under a difficult circumstances, I think, of time and money and in the COVID era. So I just really been enjoying that the Kenobi show makes me feel like watching the original trilogy and prequel, like the ways I watched them again and again and again, and loved things and noticed different things and had favorite weirdos in the background. And it's just nice to spend time with an old friend.
Indeed. I like introducing people to those old friends of ours. My sister, my younger sister, was house sitting and she had access to Disney Plus, and she texted me. She goes, "Hey, I have access. I don't ever watch Disney Plus. There's a lot of Star Wars stuff on here. Have you ever seen Ahsoka? Have you ever seen these shows? Did you know this was on here?" And it's we haven't talked much over the years. We're getting back to a more constant communication. It was just fun to be like, "Yep, yeah, definitely seen them. You should check them out." But it was then when she got going, she just was like, "I really love this Ahsoka character." And then she's like, "What should I watch next?" And I said, "You should try Skeleton Crew." And all through the weekend, I kept getting like text about, "Oh my God, Jude Law's in this. Oh my God, this is great. Oh my God, these kids are great." And I just like that stuff.
Yeah.
In this era of, discourse and hot takes and hate and just for people not getting the stuff or not wanting to watch the stuff, to have someone be like, "Hadn't heard of this. Did you know they were doing Star Wars TV shows?" Number one, it's kind of a fun take. And two, man, this is great. I'm getting something from it. And I think it's always a fun thing.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Does she know you do this?
Not really. No, I mean, yes, but no. Yeah. You like I said, our communications try and improve, not to get to deep family issues, but I'm sure you run into that too. When it's like there's certain kinds of family members or friends or people from your past where you try to explain what your job is or what we try to make our job be, and it is like a podcast all about Star Wars 4 times a week, 3 times a week. Wow.
Yeah. There was a time a while back that I think they might have truly misunderstood. I don't think it's an attempt to avoid it, but my parents were convinced that podcasts were geo-locked. So like, well, it's too bad we can't listen to them since you record them in Los Angeles.
It's the radio. It's old-timey radio. Yeah.
Yep. It's amazing. It's like, yeah, I mean, it's really expensive to get a podcast from Los Angeles.
It's true. In fact, David, Channel 19 out there in the UK area, he's just imagining what we say.
Yeah,
he hasn't heard it. That's fascinating.
I look forward to you getting a text from your sister being like, "Do you know sometimes people talk about Star Wars on the internet and they do that as like a job?"
Yeah. Some people don't like this. Some people base their entire identity and career on hating this. Make way more money than me. Sure. Well, there we go. On that note, let's get into some Star Wars news. First one up. Matt Smith talks Star Wars while promoting dragons, and we had the mumbo jimbo with this comment. Hello to ForceCenter and my fellow supporters of the quote "Just give Matt Smith a lightsaber already" movement. There, yes. Well, season 3 of House of the Dragon is here with an absolute. I'm gonna say it. I hate saying it like this. An absolute banger of an episode last night. If you watched it, you know. And Matt Smith and his blood-covered face all through the episode as he plays Daemon Targaryen. Matt Smith, in promoting the show, talks some Star Wars Starfighter, and he was a little coy about his role as an alleged villain, saying, "Am I?" Question mark. I might have added all that. This is on the Today Show. He said, "I think the film is going to be absolutely blinding. I think it's going to be brilliant, truly. I was so excited and thrilled to be on it. Mia Goth, fantastic. Ryan Gosling's just a great leader. Sean Levy, real top director. It was brilliant." Using all the British slang words for excitement and things they like. He also added that there was a rough cut of the film and kind of teased, like, I might even watch it today, which is exciting. So not much to dive into here. There's not a lot of meat on the bone, Joseph, but in terms of just like, yeah, this is what he's not. I don't mean he's going to say that's what he's going to say cynically. Just like, yeah, no, it's exciting to hear this, but we're still a year out. But everyone who has been part of the film and spoken about the experience seems to have had a great time. Now, again, I don't know many actors. Maybe, I don't know. There's certain types. Brian Cox, Liam Neeson. I don't know, some Harrison. Some of them have the energy where I wouldn't be surprised if they're like, "Oh, I hated it." Stephen Delane, Stannis Baratheon from Game of Thrones saying, "I don't know, I didn't watch the show. I did it for money." Like, there's that kind of stuff out there. But what do we take from that? They've all seemed to have an absolutely brilliant, fun time.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, obviously they need to say positive things. What are they going to say? Like, yeah, I've been yelling at my agent for 6 months about that train wreck they got me involved in.
Yeah.
But I think you're astute to pull out what's the commonality of what they're saying, because obviously they can't say anything of substance, or they can't say anything specific. So they're trying to answer honestly about their experience as a human being making the film, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's great to hear that it was a good experience, because I think that is part of the choice of Sean Levy and Ryan Gosling. I think it's great that Matt Smith says Ryan is just a great leader. There is that whole culture of number one on the call sheet sets the tone.
Yeah.
And it's sort of an unspoken or unwritten rule, spoken of often, an unwritten rule that it's your job to watch out for other people and to set the vibe. And I know Ryan Gosling is a human being, and I'm sure he has flaws.
We haven't found him yet. Yes.
But he's not a tortured artist who, has viral tapes because he screamed at somebody because they walked in front of his light,
Big G. Oh, good for you. Yeah.
Which he apologized for. So, not here to revisit 15-year-old Christian Bale memes. But I'm just saying, he just does seem like a very level-headed and fun person. So I'm kind of not surprised that Gosling managed to strike that tone. And I think, there's plenty of debate. I refreshed myself this morning. I literally typed into a search engine, Sean Levy controversy, and found, he got caught up in some rumors, drama, half truths, full truths. I don't know about actors getting along or not in Stranger Things. I saw people having some strong opinions that he is a good but bland filmmaker, because there was like Reddit threads of like, hey, why does everybody hate this guy because he's announced for a Star Wars film? And the discussion was basically like, oh, well, because people are very cruel on the internet, and the only real sort of controversy or criticism is his films are good, but not like super like auteurish, right. Which I think the reason I bring all that up is I think we've talked a lot on the show about Sean Levy being, I'm not going to say a safe choice. I'm going to say a solid choice, because he's got a great track record. And I think having this kind of atmosphere on set where it's done on time, and everybody had a good time, and there was no drama.
Mhm.
It takes a lot of experience to run a massive set like this and have no problems, as the history of Star Wars films
Mhm.
has shown us. There are often
Mhm.
bumps, and I think
Mhm.
Sean Levy is clearly somebody who knows how to run that set.
Yeah, absolutely. We said it before, but a director of this kind of a film is essentially a CEO or a project manager in a large roving corporation at this point, or a large company, and he's proven to run those well, and I think that's key, and that's why I asked the question. It just seems like everyone enjoyed the experience, and again, what else would they say? What else would Matt say in that moment? I wouldn't expect him to say anything else, but I'm just taking some encouragement from it there, and I think solid choice is the right word. We kept using like safe or business smart kind of choice for like Mandalorian
Mm-hmm.
Grogu and stuff, and sometimes that gets misinterpreted. But just the cast seems to have really gotten along and had a great time, and that means everything. Yourself from a large part of casting, especially on a feature film, is one, do they have the talent and can they play this part? But most importantly, like 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, do I want to spend 12 hours a day with this person? Do I want them around me for 30 days, whatever it is, in tough locations with a lot of stresses? Can we work with this person? And sometimes the bad folks do get all the jobs, and there's all those things, and we eat them up with TMZ videos and whatever. But it just seems like they put together a crew that really came together to work on this. Again, from the outside looking in, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Yep. And those folks in the comments are saying like, yep, he's got to say nice things. I'm just hoping that there is truth in the fact that it was a good experience, because I think that does translate on screen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it would. Yeah. So there you go. And then
Sorry, pop
what's
this up
that?
from Eddie Mourner. I would like to spend 12 hours a day with both Ryan Gosling and Matt Smith. Yeah, yeah.
That's fair.
I'd like to go down the pub with both of them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Sorry. I use 2 browsers now to broadcast the show, and I'm constantly I got to get in the rhythm of switching back and forth to get my notes and also
Two-browser knapsack. Another
two
nickname for you.
So let's talk a little bit about 2027 and May of that year when this film comes out. There has been a lot discussed about, like you said, the choices, safe choice, solid choice, bland choice, whatever it might be. We definitely would agree, or not that it's a fact, but that just we're really hoping that this slot would be a Rey Skywalker-led film and that whole project, and it isn't the case, and this kind of wasn't announced, and now it shows back up. There's that history behind this discussion. And we've even, see it here in ForceCenter. Some people are like, just not looking forward to it. Gosling and Star Wars, all those things. And I think they're all valid, either concerns, dislikes, questions. But with a cast high on the IMDb star meter, a popular director, bland as some might find him, but someone who gets it over the finish line and has had successes, and the 50th anniversary year hype swirling around the film and everything going on during that month or that period of time. Right now, status check, Joseph, how are we feeling about Starfighter as we're just under a year away, which is kind of crazy?
I'm so fascinated by it, because I think I have opinions and thoughts about what it might be and what it needs to be, but there is like a lot that we don't know about it. I will say that as folks are popping in the chat here, Kelly Kidd says I love Sean Levy. Nicholas Arcus says the Night at the Museum films are underrated. People obviously really enjoyed Deadpool and Wolverine. I have no doubt that the film is going to be apparently solid is my word of the day. I'm now an influencer who is getting paid by words, and solid is the word for me today. I have no doubt it's going to be a solid film. I think, especially with Gosling and Levy, I think it will be fun and engaging, and I think it will have real heart to it, because that is a thing that Levy's films do, where they're a heart on their sleeve, especially kind of usually in their climax. So I have no doubt it will be that. But I wonder, is it's set in this new era? It's set in a time where I think people are really hungry for, they want it to be Star Wars, but within the context of Star Wars, they want it to feel new. I think Andor hit partially because of the quality, but also because, hey, we're digging even deeper and being really explicit that this is political, that this is the ground troops, the real people. So that felt kind of different. Our ForceCenter community, with a few small exceptions, loved Maul, and Maul is very Star Wars, but managed to push harder on noir and horror and emotional dread and all these great things. So my question about it is, like, I have no doubt it will be a really fun, engaging, ultimately heartwarming film. But besides the fact that it doesn't have any baggage, these are new characters, new era, will the story itself be different? Will Matt Smith, who I do believe is a villain, and Mia Goth, like, who are they as villains? Is there something different about it? What is the plot? If it is Ryan Gosling protecting a child, as has been rumored, it's like, it's a great story. We've heard a lot in Star Wars right now, so I hope they got a good spin on it, you know? So I think I'm really down to, like, what is the heart of the film? What is the actual plot? And do they manage to inject something that makes people go, cool, that was Star Wars, but with this fresh twist?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm excited to start getting closer to the film. I'm not excited for time to move forward as it does, but I'm excited to start getting a little bit more taste. Though that puts us in a weird spot of, I want to know just enough, but I don't want all, don't want to be spoiled going in that weird kind of modern spot we're all in. But I want to kind of start to pull it together and get a sense of what they're doing. I have questions, not concerns, but questions about the story and where we are in the timeline. And I don't think it's going to connect as much as we might want to any other thing they got cooking, but maybe it does. And I know there's some rumor reporting about what's coming forward and what's going forward with the Star Wars shows and TV shows and movies and New Republic era and all that stuff. It's out there if you guys want to look it up. Until it becomes fact, we won't really talk about it. But I have a lot of whimsical questions about the film. I still understand a lot of the, man, this could have been something else, man, they announced those 3 films, and we don't even, the 2 films coming out weren't even announced there, and it looks a little weird. But I think I'm less and less worried about the business side of it right now, and just seeing the excitement from these folks, seeing some of the shots released, whether it's Gosling's pants or the water world like speeder and all those kind of things, the rumors of a lightsaber, all those things. I think it's fun. I think it's a good choice right now for the 50th anniversary. And if anyone out there isn't excited, I understand that. But I think, I'm at this point. My mom called me this weekend and said, can you call me, she texted me, can you call me? I have some questions about Instagram. And so I needed to help her sign up for Instagram in 2026 because one of her favorite dog influencers, I guess, is moving off YouTube and going to Instagram. We had this long conversation about some of the concerns, this, that, and everything she kept saying. I just don't think I want to do it. I was just like, none of what you're saying matters. Just enjoy it. Just sign up and watch your dog guy. And I think sometimes with this film, with Gosling, is he going to be fit into Star Wars? He's going to fit into Star Wars. Don't worry about it. And that's where I'm at. That's where my excitement level is. I'm ready for the fun.
Yeah. Laserbolt Vids is saying, I'm going to try to avoid trailers for Starfighter like it did for Mando Grogu. Yeah, I think that is a growing thought in opinion. That maybe, I don't know. I think trailers have made this interesting shift from, I think they should cause mystery. They should give you just a little bit to make you lean in and wonder what is next. And I think that they have turned sweaty. I think they have turned like, we need to show, they're like fear-based instead of intrigue-based. Like, to me, they should be like, we're going to just give you a flash and make you lean forward and go, ooh, I want to know more. As opposed to, I feel like there is some like, we're worried about the bottom line, so get the biggest shots you can in there, get the most impressive shots. And like, I don't think that's actually serving audiences. So I hope that maybe, maybe they learn from some of the Mando and Grogu's hand in the trailers. And I would love to see them not do that for Starfighter.
Yeah, and also, look, we're all wonderfully part of the problem too. Back in our childhood, like, a trailer came out, you talked with your friends on the playground, you had the same thoughts and wonders, and but I think you could kind of leave it there. And look, any trailer drops, we're gonna have a lot of fun. We're not gonna stop. We're gonna have a lot of fun doing 2
Oh.
hours on that trailer. But when you hear it, and you're surrounded by it, and everyone's got to take it every thought. I think that's what people are reacting to. It's like by the time you get to the theater, you're almost exhausted with the discussion of it and the speculation of it. And then, you can start to put stuff together, and I'm affected by that of like, oh, we haven't even got to blank planet yet. Yeah, that's right. Okay. And then you can, takes away a little enjoyment.
Commander Green says, I'm just looking forward to seeing new characters and settings. Other great thoughts about trailers and commercials.
Yes.
Nicholas Arcus says, compromise. Only watch the 90s Budweiser throwback Super Bowl spots for Starfighter.
Yes. Yes.
Yep. You know what? During the Super Bowl, they should only have Ryan Gosling doing a cheeky Cerveza Crystal parody. They'll be really obscure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
That's gonna be fun press buildup though.
With Gosling's gonna do a great job.
He's gonna host SNL or do some SNL sketch. Yeah.
He'll do SNL. It'll be great. It'll be great.
Yeah.
Neil Hanstock says, I'd prefer a 1-minute teaser 6 months out, followed by a 2-minute trailer a month or two before the release date.
Yeah.
You got go trailer. I think go trailer schedule. I really agree with that.
Yeah.
Ken, my last thought on this is a thought that I want to also make a question. Is I was thinking about this. I'm not even. I don't think that how Starfighter does at the box office affects anything for the future, for the immediate future of Star Wars. Go with me for a second. It's the 50th anniversary. We're re-releasing the original film in some more original cut. Star Wars Celebration will be a wind up to Starfighter for sure, but also celebrating the 50th anniversary. The discussion of this new trilogy, whatever it is, has been, quite rampant. I don't think there's any way that in the 50th anniversary of A New Hope, they don't announce this new trilogy if they're going to do it. I don't think there's any way that they were like, let's wait until summer of 2027 and then decide whether or not to do a new trilogy based on how Starfighter does. Like, I think they will have already made the decision, yes or no, to move forward with that new trilogy and maybe even announced it at Celebration.
Yeah, because the next Celebration window would be 2029. Oh, God, that date just hit me. That's. And I have a weird relationship with the news announcements at cons now because I think it's fun, spectacular. We've experienced them in person. We've covered them. I think Hall H, the glory of the Hall H days at San Diego Comic-Con, it was fun stuff, and it created big hype, and it just felt different, and that kind of waned, and I think things naturally wane. But I also sometimes just wish we weren't breaking news at cons anymore. We're celebrating, we're previewing, but I don't know if that will ever happen. But I don't even know. I'm going to my first Dragon Con this year. I can soft announce that. And I'm like, what do you do there? There's no news announcements. You guys, what do you got? What do you do? What do you do? God, I haven't been to a con.
Party. There's nothing to cover. Just have fun.
Yeah. It'll be nice to take the fifth shot of whiskey at 2 a.m. and not have to get up at 6 a.m. to run to a Walking Dead press activation, right? Okay. That'll be nice. But anyways,
you'll probably be drinking whiskey next to somebody from Walking Dead because they're making hand over fist money from signatures and photos.
Oh God, yeah. But yes, this is a fun discussion of looking ahead to what the hype will be, and I think you're right. They have a chance to once again maybe establish what's coming. As cynical as some people will be about it, and maybe it's okay to be cynical.
I also think that maybe a year from now, the discussion of how big genre IP like Star Wars, how much money it should make will have shifted, because I don't think blockbusters are dead, but I think they have moved to bigger opening weekend and smaller follow-up, and they're not they're not going to bust blocks anymore. The blockbusters are not literally going to bust blocks by having people line up.
And so ends the age of busting the blocks. Now begins the age of indie film. Yes.
Yeah. Why do you say hang up the phone? Well, because you see, you used to have to physically. Yeah, we're getting into that. Yeah, but I think it could be that, like, okay, it does. I think it's going to do better than Mando and Grogu just because it doesn't have any baggage. And Mando and Grogu, I think, had the benefit of those of us who love Mando and Grogu, and I think for some people it had the baggage of that TV show. This has no baggage. I think it's going to do even better. But it might just have a second weekend like a lot of IP. But by next year, the conversation might have moved on to like, yeah, that's what we expect of these kind of movies, you know?
Yeah, it could be. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. All right, any final thoughts on Starfighter before we go to the biggest story of the day?
Nope. I've been dying to talk about this next one.
There we go. All right, this was the biggest news story of the weekend. You know, it's good. It was revealed this week that George Lucas voiced a cameo in Illumination's upcoming Minions and Monsters, and even more. It happened because he is a big fan of the Minions. Illumination CEO Chris Meledandri, you know, my glasses are off. I can't read. He said, I had the privilege of meeting George about 2 years ago, and what led to my meeting with him is how much he loves Illumination movies, and specifically Despicable Me, and even more specifically, the Minions. It was such a thrill to learn that and then to share it with the team because obviously he's among a very small group of people the entire studio shares a level of respect for that is just off the charts. After that, they went back to George with the idea of the character and the cameo, and George was like, hell yeah. So, Joseph, we'll start here. We can have a long discussion on the Minion stuff. But why is it just so fun that, this idea that George is a normal human with loves for things like silly movies, sneakers, and Sbarro? And I get it. There's a great doc out right now about Lorne Michaels. And there's a lot to talk about, a lot to think about, a lot to discuss about Lorne Michaels. But there's just like at one point he's just eating the popcorn he loves. I'm like, Lorne Michaels loves snacks. And it's just weird to think. So this is George Lucas. What's the intrigue?
Yeah, I think it's a couple things. I think it is the way we have seen him in public a lot. Like we all love the Sbarro photo and that documentary that he walks behind. And like, he is this weird sort of cryptid you see in the background of things. But I think the way that a lot of us have literally heard him speak is there are so many clips of him either promoting the legend of Star Wars, doing interviews about, yes, it is all based on Joseph Campbell, or telling the saga of Lucasfilm of how nobody believed in it except for these handful of people and it changed everything and or just straight up lots of interviews or clips where he's defending some choice he's made. I just saw a clip again. I can't even remember when the interview is from. I think it's right when Revenge of the Sith is going to come out, and the interview is like, so hey, everybody hates your movies. How do you feel about that? And he's like, are you nervous about this one since they hated the last two? And he's like, yeah. He's got this great quote about like, I want to make what I want to make, and I decide I'm going to paint this house white, and then somebody comes over and says you should have painted it green, and he's like, maybe it'd be a better house if it was painted green. I wanted to paint it white because I'm an artist and I made a film. But just like so many of his appearances are either hype man for the legend of Star Wars or just sitting there taking body blows. So that so much of the image of him is in the fight for Star Wars or his other loves that it's great to just think about him like, oh, he's just in a robe watching Minions all Saturday afternoon. It's like he gets to be a human with likes.
Yeah. No, again, this question is almost silly because I get it. He is this icon. He's elevated above all. He made our childhoods. Like, I have not met him. I literally brushed my shoulder against his at the Grove in Los Angeles, and didn't have, was not going to stop him because he was talking to someone, and I don't do that. But it was just like, no one was picking up on that it was him, really. I'm sure other people were, but there wasn't like security around him and this and that. He had his dad's sneakers on, and he was, going to get a bite to eat at Cheesecake Factory or something. And it's fun. And the Minions thing is surprising in how not surprising it is.
Yeah.
That he likes this stuff.
I was a little surprised by the Minions thing, but then realized I shouldn't be. I think that's what got me so excited about it is obviously he likes. I am not a Minions expert, by the way. So if I say something incorrect about the Minions, feel free to correct me, because you can't move around Los Angeles without seeing a giant one somewhere floating over a freeway. The Minions are everywhere, but I don't know them. I don't know the Minions. I've never met them.
I don't either.
But obviously George likes weird things, cute things, silly things, fun things, because he puts them in Star Wars and he advocates for them. But usually when he's talking about them, again, it's in sort of like defiance of, I wanted a weird robot butler and they all hated 3PO. I wanted this innocent childlike character of Jar Jar Binks and they all hated it. And like, and he obviously there's other things he likes, he likes the deep mythos, but like when it was like, oh, there's nothing to prove. There's nothing to argue. He's just like, I love the Minions and sure, I'd like to be one. It's like, oh, he just really does like cute, fun things. Like there's that famous interview where he's asked his favorite arc of the Clone Wars. And he says it's the D Squad.
Right. And
I've always wondered of like, is it? Or is he being really punk rock and being like, I know it's the one you all hate. So I'm going to say it's my favorite. And like, no, it's just his favorite because it's full of cute, weird little guys.
Yeah. And great film, homages to films and stories of the past. And yeah, I felt he was challenging me directly when that came out. And now here we are after our review on the Clone Wars report. I'm like, yeah, I think George was right. I think he might have been right.
Yeah. There's also that I got to find it because I think it's been edited on the Blu-ray release, but on the DVD release of Temple of Doom from around the time that Kingdom Crystal Skull came out, there's a making of documentary about Temple of Doom, and George talks a bunch about how it's the middle chapter of the trilogy, even though chronologically it isn't, but it's the middle chapter of the trilogy we're presenting, so it's got to be darker, and you got to challenge me, and you had to do all these dark, awful things. And then he ends the interview by going, it's not my favorite though. I like the lighter, fun ones. So he presents himself as like, yeah, I forced Steven to make a dark, awful, brutal film. It's not my favorite. It just always really cracked me up because there's something so George about it. But it was also just like, oh, he meant that because he does. Yeah. He would throw some Minions into Indiana Jones maybe if he did another one.
Yeah, I mean that is such a George trait that I think that's part of the myth. The what is it? The famous Clone Wars promotion is he talked to Jon Stewart back there when he's like
Conan O'Brien.
Is it Conan? Yes, it's Conan. Yeah, thank you. No one's gonna like it.
It's not really for anybody. It's it's not really for adults. It's a little dark for super young kids. So
there's a great interview, and I was doing some research for a project I was working on a couple summers ago about Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, and it's like the promotional interview, like when you go out for promotion and it's talk to George Lucas, and he's just like, yeah, no one's gonna like this. It's like a historical thing. It's got a kid. This isn't gonna work. But I love it. This is what I want to do. It's part of the craziness of George in a way, just makes him to me even more iconic, that he just does what he wants to do. And maybe you'll get it later, really means something to him. Like he's not just brushing it off when he says, no, your kids are going to love these prequels. Don't worry about it.
Advan says maybe he feels isolated, and the desire to be a minion is a desire to be almost anonymous in an unquestioned part of a silly group. My community. That's why we want to be minions. Community,
dude. Love it. And again, human being has interest. I get that part of it, but it's just funny to me. It's just funny to me. Well, and part of this, Joseph, is because the Lucas Museum is rapidly approaching its grand opening. We're looking at September of this year. And George is very clearly returning to the public spotlight a bit more. Promos, videos, the shorts or reels that he and Melody were doing that people loved. The aura farming that he was doing, those photos we talked about. A little subtle change in some of the looks, like it's not all flannel anymore. It's some hoodies, some that one tracksuit he had on that just was something different. And more interviews, and look, he's always been in the limelight, but it just seems to be a new energy. He looks also, I think, in better health than I think he had been in the last couple of years. I do admit that the Dial of Destiny premiere, there was a little of like, oh, George, like just some of the realities of aging and health issues. I think he's looking good. He's feeling good. I know he's probably stressed with the museum, but we are in this big final push for the Lucas Museum of Narrative Art. And I just wanted to ask us together, Joseph, what does that mean to us as Star Wars fans, especially those who've been around this dance for a long time?
I think it's great because I think there's kind of some room to give him his flowers. He's not actively making Star Wars. The generation that grew up with the prequels is not as hostile to him as other generations have been. But also, I don't think any of that hostility is fading. But it's also just like it's been a talking point for decades, right?
Right.
That it's great to have him be out there and while he's still alive, be creating a museum that is his legacy. That is, the museum itself is an argument for his beliefs that art is valuable, no matter if it came from a comic book or the height of high art. And clearly already in what they presented in the museum, there is a great advocacy for diversity. And also just like, I like things that go fast. Here's the kind of art I like. Here's the kind of art that inspired me. There's so much about the museum that is his legacy. And I think, I don't know, sometimes I wish we all got to live to a ripe old age, or maybe had the weird gift of knowing we're almost done. And then we all had a moment to, be seen before it all wraps up for us. In a way, I feel like, I'm not holding the funeral for him. He might live to 120, but he's getting up there. And in a way, this museum is maybe getting a chance for people to say the nice things about him that he deserves before that would normally be said about him when he dies, before he dies.
No, I'm right there with you. There's just the realities of all of us eventually bowing out, and if you get lucky enough to call your shot in terms of just being able to close it and put it together, be able to speak to everyone one final time in a way, I kind of feel that this is what this is. And again, I'm with you. Maybe he lived to 120, and by then we'll all be able to reverse our own bodies, not just rich, weird billionaires. But in an era where, his buddies, Marty Scorsese and old Steven Spielberg, they're making pictures and they're still going strong, which is another kind of great thing I like to celebrate. To have him to go, I'm kind of done with that side of it. I got burnt out of that or whatever it was. But I want my legacy to be not just, that space thing, because I know I'm going to be associated with that. But this is what it is, that all this stuff that I helped build and create, and I was a part of a bigger picture, it meant something. It meant something. So I have always been interested in the museum. I've been excited. Now I'm just absolutely can't wait, and I'm thrilled to step in there for the first time whenever it does happen, because I think I'm standing behind him and others of just like, this art means everything. All that silly art that you got told was just kid stuff in the 70s and 60s and 80s and beyond. All the stuff, all the people that yell, they're just playing with their action figures, all that kind of stuff. Like this is a museum that says, no, this all mattered. There's going to be varying levels of it too, and we know that from the fun Star Wars stuff to maybe some of the deeper, harder to take in political stuff that's like in your face about what it meant. And I'm excited. And so just seeing, but to have all that wrapped up in George doing shorts or TikToks to try to promote with his wife, and staring at Grievous. That shot I keep looking at that shot of him staring at Grievous. I don't think I've removed it from. I have it here for those watching. It's just fascinating to me. It's just fascinating to me.
And that whole idea that never physically existed.
Yes,
in the film, and now he has made it manifest is a way to talk about the whole history of filmmaking and some of the controversial elements of his filmmaking, and it's fascinating. Yeah.
As David says, he's not just the guy behind Howard the Duck or Radio Days. Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, Howard the Duck. One thing I wanted to ask you about George's legacy here. I think he's probably done making films, but many times over the years, like, okay, well, I'm done with Star Wars. I'm finally getting back to making, weird experimental films. Like, I know some people would like, hey, it'd be great if you directed a Star Wars thing. That'd be really cool. Man, I would love to see just put it on YouTube. Just a 20-minute weird experimental film by George Lucas. I'd be so if it's just like, here are some lines and they're racing. Like, I don't care. Just like, I would love to see him. Like, George, you've been promising us a weird experimental movie.
Yeah.
Make it short.
Yeah, maybe that could be showed at the museum. Yeah, it'd probably be a Minion film. He'd probably make a Minion short. It'd be like, what are we doing? Yeah, we did get we got some super chat questions to answer here before we get on out. But Advent says, what would your reaction be to George Lucas, the director of a surprise new Star Wars movie premiering in 2028? Number one, I'd be shocked because there's not just no way, but also no one. I don't think anyone can keep that secret. But yeah, basically, everything we just said, like him returning to Star Wars officially in any capacity. What would you think of that?
I'd be thrilled if, like, they do announce The Mandalorian season 4 and he directs an episode. That would be cool. Otherwise, if there was, to the exact question, a movie, I would want it to be a sort of like, we're creating an Elseworlds kind of thing for Star Wars, where it's like this, like Visions, like they're doing with Visions, like it's in it. Just, George, do whatever the hell you want, because I want, if the man was going to make some other Star Wars, I just want to let him make whatever he wanted to make, and wouldn't want it to be like, does it fit into modern canon? Does he need to compromise with new Bob Iger, whose name I'm forgetting, I apologize.
Josh D'Amaro,
like that. George doesn't want that. It wouldn't happen. So if there was a new Star Wars movie, I'd be just like, great. It's just it happens in George's world, wherever that is.
Yeah.
Then I'd be thrilled to just like, cool, great. Doesn't matter. Let's go.
Doesn't matter. Let's go. Yeah, indeed. Yeah. I think it's an impossible thing. It wouldn't happen now. He is too busy with the museum. He's having to put a lot of work into getting that off the ground, and then of course maintaining it, all that kind of stuff. So it wouldn't happen. But I had some high hopes around season 2 of Mandalorian. I had some high hopes. There were strong rumors floating around the town here that one of the episodes was going to have a story by credit to George Lucas. Never happened, and all that stuff. But I was excited for just that. And seeing him on the set with a blurry Grogu, and hearing Dave, oh yeah, I called him up and asked about this, or hearing he stopped by this set, or parts showing up first day of Ron Howard's day on Solo to kind of support his old buddy for that project. Like, that stuff is going to continue to happen, I'm sure. He'll be at the 50th. I absolutely. I mean,
he's gonna
not guaranteed it. Yeah, but like, he'll be there. He's got that. And when I say he's got that museum to promote, it's his life's work, and I think he knows that we all love him in the end and want to help celebrate his life's work. So it'll be fascinating to see him there.
Yeah, I continue to think that it is one of the reasons that the celebration is in Los Angeles, because it is a short train ride to the museum.
Yeah. As much as grumpy as I've been about that choice, I think once you said that, it kind of clicked in that kind of makes a lot of sense. And then there's the new subway line that's going to make it easier to get there. And yeah. Not the end all be all reason it's there, maybe, but definitely a benefit.
But a bonus,
a bonus indeed. All right, there we go. Any final thoughts on George? We got some questions from Cali Kid to answer.
No, and I've shared all my George thoughts for now. All my public George thoughts. I have my private George thoughts.
Yes, indeed. All right, Cali Kid, thank you for the support and super chats. He asks thoughts on Hayden's comments on Ahsoka season 2. He was at, I think it was, again, SpaceCon San Antonio, where a lot of Star Wars news. We talked about the Palpatine McDiarmid stuff on Friday. Basically saying, hey, Anakin is back for Ahsoka season 2. I don't take that as a surprise. He may have said more, but I didn't dive into it. But what is him back in Ahsoka season 2? What do you want from that? I guess is more the question I have.
I think for me, now that they have, I think Ahsoka season 1 established that he can exist in that show in many ways. We know that Ahsoka has a large collection of training videos from him, from Anakin. We know that he can appear to her as a Force spirit. And then I think the thing that I'd be most excited for is if Ahsoka does go into Mortis, the possibility of substantive time with him, either as a spirit or an ambiguous presence in Mortis. But just like we got in that 5th episode of the Ahsoka season 1, of just like substantive time
Mm-hmm.
with him interacting with Ahsoka as a spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah.
there's been the rumors about a Clone Wars flashback,
Right.
and I'd be just fine with that.
I actually, yeah, you're right. There's so much room to play with the mystical side of Anakin returning in a way, shape, or form, and I would want to see those conversations if we, Force Ghost conversations or whatever it might be. I am more at this point a little more focused on the possibility of actually, not even I don't know, not even using the magical mystical side of Star Wars and the world between worlds, but just like going back to the Clone Wars. Just give me an episode that's live action Clone Wars with Ariana Greenblatt and Ewan McGregor and Hayden doing some Star Wars and back then, and just getting to focus on something that matters. I don't necessarily don't think that would happen with the short episode run and everything, but I'm excited. I just love what they were able to pull off with that kind of vision of the Clone Wars in the past. It looked so good to me, and it was a chance for Hayden to do some great Anakin performing. So yeah, I have to almost curb my expectations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking so much about obviously his connection to Ahsoka, but I also feel like the first season everybody had some Anakin baggage in a way, because Balin had some baggage about who Anakin became, so he could appear to Balin in in Mortis Land as well. I also like that in that last episode, Sabine sensed or could almost see something when we saw the Force Spirit was there. And there's so much in Ahsoka season 1 about the legacy of slightly more rogue Jedi, and that being one of Ahsoka's issues with, I'm afraid, what if I pass on some of the bad things I may have learned to Sabine. So it'd be interesting if, as Sabine grows stronger in the Force, she could commune with Anakin. Is like, well, in the lineage, you're my, my grand mentor. You're my grand teacher.
Yeah. Fascinating. Yeah, we shall see. We might have been seeing sooner, but now we're going to see a little bit later. Kelly Gett also asks, are you going to have a panel at Star Wars Celebration LA 2027? I mean, we haven't even really talked about it early in the game, so to speak, but I think it would be game time decision when they announce that the panel submissions are open.
We'll probably apply, but I don't know that we'll get one, and I'm okay with that because there's a good possibility of other folks kindly inviting us onto the panel, onto their panel, and the panels are really fun to do, but also at other celebrations, we've been able to have meetups and, run into folks when I'm action figure hunting on the floor. So I feel like we will get to see folks, and that's what's most important to me.
Yeah, same. I love being on panels. It's always fun to be asked. I think when you're putting one together, like I don't know, we might, we haven't had our own in a while, whatever. There's always something fun about that idea. But to me, there's I just think it makes me sound lazy, but I'm going to roll with it. Just putting together a panel is not as easy as just showing up for once. It's just what it is for me.
Yeah, and I don't mind putting together the panel, but the applying and the back and forth can be a lot of work. And I also give kudos to Celebration that I think that they've made really good choices about making sure that there is a wide variety of kinds of panels, and I think people with a very specific angle on what they pitch for the panel has really good chance of getting in. And I think if we really wanted to get in, we'd really think about like what's a hyper specific angle we can
and hyper specific. And also there's that one, it sounds like I'm negative. I'm not. I love being on panels. It's always fun, but like there's sometimes when you're covering a convention and you're like, geez, I hope our panel isn't like Friday at 11, because it's just
that's when the news breaks. Yeah,
and you don't know, and you can't. Yeah, you're just like, so there's that too. But we'll definitely be there. Kelly also says, good luck to Joseph with your movie.
Thank you very much for the copious emojis.
Yes, it says, did you see Star Wars cameos in Blues Brothers? I've never really seen the Blues Brothers, I will confess. Yeah.
Wow.
No.
Uh,
Aykroyd's
I
my guy, but I never.
I don't say that in a I don't like it when people are negative about like you haven't seen that because like lives are complicated and there's plenty of
Yeah.
things I have not seen. Um,
Yeah.
it is I am blown away because it is a film that would be of such interest to you, Ken. There
Yeah.
are other films where it's like, as you know, as one wants to be knowledgeable about cultural literacy, maybe one should see that film. But yeah, that's a Ken movie.
Oh, yeah.
Like on
Yeah.
multiple levels. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's on the list. Yeah. It just was, yeah. I mean, people know I'm a big SNL historian at one point. I've lost all my memory on my own knowledge on it, but yeah, I just yeah, never when I don't watch something and you don't know that you miss it, I just don't.
Well, how would you know, right?
Yeah, how would you know?
Exactly.
I know Carrie Fisher's in it. I've seen clips. I know songs. I love trying to dance like Dan Aykroyd at weddings, doing the Blues Brothers Soul Man song. But yeah, never did. But
Yeah.
what are there specific Star Wars cameos in it?
Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
Has got the good. It's been a while since I've seen it, so if there's I might be forgetting something, and people are welcome to remind me. So I might be forgetting it.
Yeah.
I have such man. So I know I've mentioned many times. Born in Minnesota, and then my family briefly moved out to Portland, Oregon, and we drove both ways. In the drive back to when we moved back to Minnesota. We would drive and then we'd stay in a hotel, and often we wouldn't find a hotel that would accept dogs. So my mom would wrap our poodle Dusty up like he was a baby and sneak in. So there'd be like we mustn't make any noise that will make Dusty the poodle bark.
Yes.
So my mom went to sleep. And they had cable, which was like what?
Oh yeah,
years away from cable. And my dad's he's a drummer who played in bars, and he loves the blues, and like, oh, the Saturday Night Live guy's on with that playing blues music movie. I'm watching that on cable with the kids, and it was like I had snorted 1,000 pixie sticks. The amount of energy it put me in me and my brother's bodies, and we were just like screaming and dancing and bouncing on the bed and getting in so much trouble because it was like it's so funny, and so like the music and the story about the value of music and oh my Ken.
Yeah, I'll see it. It's on the list.
I know.
I'm getting better. I'm getting better at knocking. Look, I'm just finished season 3 for All Mankind.
Did?
Now only 2 years behind the show.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're in for a big moment. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm there. All right, I think that's it. We got Dennis with one final question here for ForceCenter. If Ochi was already hunting Jedi during the Clone Wars, could we get stories putting him even earlier, running missions for Palpatine in the Clone Wars Republic? Ochi of Bastoon. Yeah, I'd love that. He's an interesting character. I read a lot of the comic stuff about him. I liked putting him in that era. So let's do it.
He's had a good run in the comics. So man, yes, I would love what a great freakish design.
Yes.
I love Ochi Bassoon. Yeah, throw him in there.
Yeah, and David asks, how many times do you watch Wicked? I'm still halfway through the first film.
I haven't seen no Wicked myself.
I don't even remember what I was watching it on. Which platform? I just canceled a lot this weekend, so maybe.
8984M says, "Hear me out. An Ochi of Bastoon game where you hunt Jedi." I'm in.
Okay.
I'm in.
All right. There we go. All right, having me Dooku or Maul there. There we go. All right, everybody.
Oh, and somebody. Oh, sorry. Somebody clarified what. There's a Frank Oz cameo. Yes. Thank you, Kelly Kid.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There we go. Here we go. We got some great questions here. Brady asks, "Do you think George posts minion memes in chats?" Yes, I think he does. Maddie Warner says, "Are Jawas essentially Star Wars minions?" Maybe, but someone in chat also says R2-D2 is basically a Star Wars minion. And Brady asks, "Do you think the minions would have worked for Palpatine?" I again, not knowing minion lore, I don't know, but possibly. Are they evil secretly?
I think they're evil light. Yeah.
Okay.
That was the other thing I was going to say about George. So I read this this information that he was,
Yeah.
going to be in the Minions. When I was near the restaurant Cantor's on Fairfax, the famous Los Angeles 24-hour deli, and I was maybe going to go to this cocktail room that they have attached to it called the Kibitz Room, but it was closed for a private event. And in their parking lot, there was a giant Minion balloon, like giant.
Right.
And I was like 2 blocks away. I was like, I got to walk down there and see if that Minion looks like George Lucas. Because if George Lucas is having a private cocktail party at the Kibitz Room, maybe I'll try to get in there. It was so not. It was so I don't know what Minion that was, but it was not a George Lucas Minion.
And is it still currently at Universal Studios? They got the big Minion staring over the valley.
So yep.
See that
so you
a lot.
can see it, from the 101. Yep.
Close to my neck of the woods. All right. That is it, everybody. We're out of here today. Thanks for hanging out with us live or watching later. If you're part of the Watch Late crew, Watch Later crew. It's not late, just later. Leave a comment down below or let us know. You can find us on social media at ForceCenter Pod. You can get merch, as we talked up top, Fourth Wall or T Public. Check out the podcast feed if you haven't. If you're video only, swing over to the podcast feed and get our Databank Brawl rebroadcasts on Sunday. And you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/ForceCenter. Don't forget, you can follow me at Ken Napzok or go to my website, kennapzok.com. If you're in San Diego for Comic-Con July 23rd, the Thursday night, first full night of Comic-Con, I'll be doing comedy with Mark Ellis, Jen Sturger, and others down at the Yellow House in the Gaslamp District, or Yellow Room, 7 p.m. show. Information on my website. You, sir, where can they find you? Tickets to your movie, and maybe any more information.
Yeah, you can find me on all the social media at Joseph Scrimshaw. I know I've been saying that for years, but hey, if you want to give me a follow right now in the build up to this film, that would help a ton. If you want to check out the film, we've got the tickets up for the Los Angeles premiere of Dead Media. That's Saturday, July 18th, and we're going to have more cities and dates announced in the coming weeks. You can check the website antennareleasing.com/films/deadmedia.
There you go. Check it all out. We'll see you next time here on ForceCenter.